Sometimes you fight the law wins. Other times you may prevail. Usually that's with Lise Wheel, and the segment is called Legalese, but this week Lise is on assignment, and filling in for her admirably and ably is Loretta Powers. Welcome back, Loretta.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you you joining us here. We've got various topics to go through, and here's one that's interesting. This is probation, just a few days in jail for someone who was texting and killed a bus driver. What's happening with this?
Well, this isn't really uncommon. In a lot of jurisdictions, they sometimes ask the victims' families what punishment seems appropriate. And here, the family thought that probation plus 4 days in jail to be served on the anniversary that this tragic event happened was enough punishment. However, if you're asking me, I don't think it's enough. I think it's only a matter of time before we see legislation of texting while driving to be equivalent to drink driving.
Yeah, so this is, again, asking the family here. Is that how common is it for a judge to connect with a family when it comes to sentencing and get their viewpoint? Is it very common across America, or is it rather uncommon?
It's very common for the prosecutors to contact the victims and say, hey, we're thinking about this plea offer. Do you think it's fair? And at this point in time, the family, they wanted to forgive. But with cases like this, there's civil remedies, and a person can't pay the civil fines if they're in jail.
Well, that part is that part is very true here. But I guess you'd have to say that's also and maybe they get, if you want it to be a teaching moment, you get some headlines with doing something like this. You're generous, and you're very you show some, I guess, that human compassion for the person who may be very torn because of what they did, and yet it's what do you call a teachable moment too, right?
Right, and that's what the victim's family want here. They want people to put their cell phones in the trunk of their car, to not even think about texting while driving, because in a split moment, somebody's going out to check the mail, and they might not return home, like what happened in this case.
Yeah, no kidding. Our guest here this morning, legal analyst Loretta Powers here. She's filling in for Lisa on the Legalese segment. Okay, when you do morning talk, all you have to do is say the name Anthony Weiner. It's the gift that keeps giving. Okay, so I get away from the 12-year-old kid side of me on that now. And this is serious, he could be indicted here in the sexting scandal. He's facing a possible indictment. What's happening?
Well, a grand jury might be convening on this issue right now. Grand jury proceedings are done in secret. Not even the defendant knows what's going on. And here, he's looking at state charges both in North Carolina and New York.
Okay.
New York is where he sent the messages. North Carolina is where the victim lives. And also federal law. Under the Protection Act of 2003, what the federal legislatures wanted to do was say, look, we want to prevent children from being exploited here. So if you exploit children in this manner by sexting them, then you're looking at a minimum of 15 years in federal prison and a maximum of 30 years.
Dude just needs to have his phone taken away forever. I mean, locked in a drawer. You can use a can with a string across it to communicate with folks, or you can yell with a megaphone, but no more. I mean, he just gets into all kinds of trouble with this, and it just never ends. It's like he's got some kind of addiction. I don't want to even excuse it because of where he went with this particular one. It's just, I don't know. And then I see people saying, well, what about his political future? What future would he have at this point? I mean, how forgiving are people in New York?
Family.
Yeah.
Not forgiving. No political career, no family, and no livelihood. No liberty now. He's looking at.
No. And of course, with the wondering what the grand jury will return here, always a mystery. All right, topic number 3. There's been so much made of the Samsung Galaxy Note 7, the recall here. Don't fly with it. Don't drive with it. Don't carry it around your person. It might explode into flame at any time. It's been an absolute galactic disaster, pun intended, for Samsung. But what happens here in terms of, Lisa and I had touched on this before about the lawsuits coming, and it could roll into a class, but the pile-on will be very short in coming, and it looks like the pile-on is coming. It's underway, right?
Right. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when this becomes a class action lawsuit. A judge has to approve it. Things have already been
Yeah.
filed. 13 people were burned here, and it could have been horrific tragedies too. People lost their property. Plus,
Right.
millions of people were paying for a cell phone that they couldn't use. And what did Samsung do? They said, well, we could give you a $25 voucher if you choose another phone. We'll give you $100 if you stay in the Samsung family.
Yeah, no, it's.
And I don't think
That's,
the
I
phone
think.
victim wants
Yeah,
the phone
I
that
think. I
burns
think I'd like
them.
to see your second offer. If that's your initial offer,
Right.
the attorneys would understand this. I think we're going to have to walk away from the table. You're going to have to come up with a better offer for my client, or else we're done here. Well, it looks like that better offer may be coming somewhere down the road. Obviously, Samsung has legal and insurance protection here, but you wonder how far that will go, and how high the number could possibly be at some point. This isn't like thousands, but when people hop in, you think about what could have happened. I mean, think of what one of these that occurred on a plane, at 40,000 feet. It's rather mind-boggling, isn't it, Loretta?
It really is. And I think this is going to be one of the biggest class action lawsuits in the history.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens overall. Loretta Powers, your legal analyst, filling in here this week for Lease Wheel on Legalese. Loretta, thanks for coming back on. We appreciate talking to you, and we'll be visiting again with Lise next time around. Thanks for being here.